I met freaking Christian Louboutin on the streets of Paris. Hey everyone, I'm Nick from How to Agender. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my city trip in Paris that I did last week. I got to meet Christian Louboutin on the streets of Paris. It was an absolutely amazing experience. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about all the shops that I visited, do a bit of a story time mixed with some footage that I filmed in Paris. So if you're excited for that, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you want to stay tuned for more content like this, and comment if you've ever been to Paris, what you think about Paris. What are your favorite shops maybe you have some tips, let me know, and let's start this video. First things first, let's see what I took with me to Paris. When I go to Paris, I never actually stay in the city center of Paris because the hotels are too expensive and too dirty. So I prefer to stay in the outskirts of Paris. This time we stayed in Torcy, which is a small city outside of Paris where you have some really nice budget-friendly hotels. We always go to Paris with the train. It's called the RER, and you are in the city center in about half an hour, so it's really worth it, especially for the price and the comfort that you get. So we took the RER train to Châtelet-Les Halles. You then come up at Rue de Rivoli, which is a very beautiful, long shopping street full of all the high street chain stores. There were major sales, so I definitely visited some of those shops. Didn't really buy anything though. Then we went towards Galeries Lafayette and Printemps, just to see what, the big designers are doing, maybe snatch a few things up in sale as well. I was specifically shooketh at Printemps because they had all the Margiela tabbies that you could possibly imagine. I was blown away by the new glitter version that they have. They have like a holographic glitter, purple glitter, and more of a black with a green reflect. I want to get them all, to be honest, but I do not have the budget for that, of course. I am planning on buying the black leather tabbies, and I will definitely do a video about those when I get them. Now, after visiting Galeries Lafayette and Printemps, we got back to Rue de Rivoli, actually through Châtelet-les-Halles and some shops. We did some shopping, you know, in between stops, and then we got to Sephora. Thank the Lord, thank the heavens above for Sephora in Paris. It is absolutely amazing. Isn't this beauty heaven? I mean, they have all these great American brands that you cannot get in Belgium. So you know, Sephora is a must visit for me when I'm in Paris. This time I got to the Sephora at Rue de Rivoli. Normally I go to the one in at the Champs-Élysées, but that one is so crowded always, and many products are out of stock mostly, so I got to that Sephora and I was actually pleasantly surprised by the size of it. They really had all the brands that you needed. I really took my time to check out the ranges of Fenty Beauty, Kat Von D, things like that. So of course I had to buy some goodies at Sephora. I got the lip balms that I absolutely love from the Sephora collection. I got them in goji, which is my absolute fave, and I also got the watermelon flavor just to try out a new one. And I got the goji hand cream as well, which I'm very excited to try. Then I also bought these two Kat Von D lipsticks. This was actually in a set for 18 euros, which is a fair price to me for two liquid lipstick shades. These two are both called Lolita. This one is the original Lolita and this is Lolita 2. I haven't tried these, so I'm very excited, but I thought it was a great deal. So then we walked towards Le Marais, which is like more of the neighborhood of Paris. You have these amazing shops over there. We walked to it through the Rue de Rivoli again. I don't know why that's coming back so many times, but anyway. And we were walking, my dad and I went with my dad to Paris, and we were walking and I saw this man looking at the poster from the Dior exhibition, and I was like, wow, that guy looks like Louboutin, you know, he has the same hair, and but I wasn't really sure if it really was him. I only saw, you know, his backside, let's say. So we just continued walking and he walked behind us, and I looked back, and while he was walking back as well to a shop close by, and I saw that he was wearing red soles. So I was like, oh my gosh, that really must be Mr. Louboutin himself, you know. So I was like, oh my gosh, that must be Christian Louboutin. I have to meet him. I have to take a picture with him. That would be the most insane thing in the world. So I did. I walked back to the store where he walked into with his assistant, and luckily I was able to catch him when he walked out of the store, and I was like, hello Mr. Louboutin, can I please take a picture with you? I really admire your work. And he was like, oh yeah, sure, do you have a camera? And I took my smartphone, I gave it to his assistant, and he took the picture. It was such an amazing moment. I know I look very calm on that picture, but inside I was like, for real, I mean. So yeah, we took a picture, and then he asked me where I was from, and I said like, oh, I'm a shoe designer from Belgium, and I really admire your work. And he was like, oh cool, like, and then he just, you know, then he had to leave, of course, because he is a businessman. He has to do many things on a day probably, but I was very excited to meet him, and he was very friendly. He took a picture with me, so after those 2 minutes probably of meeting him, I was shooketh to the core. I was gagging, I was deceased, my wig was snatched to the gods. I was literally flabbergasted. I was like, did that really happen? Was that Mr. Louboutin, the one that makes millions of red soled shoes? Was that really him? And I still really can't believe it though, but I'm super happy that I got the picture, I got to meet him. This is a sign that I should buy Christian Louboutin shoes, right? Anyway, so after that amazing meeting, I got to Le Marais, where we visit the BHV shop. It's also a department store with a very nice collection of clothing and shoes, and especially gadgets. They had really cool candles and things like that, things you don't really need but you want to buy anyway. Then we also went towards Le Dessous d'Apollon, which is an underwear shop. You know, the gays are living in that shop. It's full of sexy briefs and boxer briefs and strings and jock straps as well. I spent a good half an hour down there looking for some cute underwear. I got some, and I might show that to you in another video, I don't know. If you want to, comment down below. Then we had a drink. I had a mojito, of course, you know, have a summer cocktail in this insanely hot weather. And then we also walked by Centre Pompidou, which still is one of my favorite buildings. I mean, you love it or you hate it. It's not a typical Paris building, but I do really like it. It's very modern. And then we got back towards our hotel. We ate something right there in one of the restaurants that was close by. So yeah, that was it for day 1. Let's go to day 2. We booked a reservation for the Margiela exhibition at 11 o'clock in the morning. So we got up at 8 and we were around the RER at 9, I think. And then we went to the Champs-Élysées because that was the closest train station to the Musée Galliera, where the exhibition took place. We went to Starbucks and had some breakfast. Then we went to the exhibition. The exhibition was by Margiela. Martin Margiela was the designer from Maison Martin Margiela from 1989 to 2009, so 20 years, and they did a retrospective about all his collections and all his fantastic work at the Musée Galliera. It runs until the 15th of July, so it probably ended when this video goes live, but anyway, it was a fantastic exhibition. I couldn't, I could not go. It was such an amazing experience. They really showcased every single collection that Martin did for his house, and the tabby boot again was very prominent on pretty much all of the models, because that was the only shoe that he used for at least for the first 10 years probably. So I am absolutely amazed by that single shoe, and I would definitely buy it, as I said before. We left all the journalists gagging with his creations. He deconstructed and resewed pretty much everything that he got in his hands. He was very inspired by secondhand clothing, and that's what I am very inspired by as well. So I was very excited to see the exhibition. I also bought the catalog, which is a very nice souvenir. After the exhibition, it was probably around 1 or 2 o'clock, and I really wanted to see one more thing in Paris, namely the Le Bon Marché department store, which is a very nice department store, but it is on the other side of the Seine, so it's kind of hard to walk by foot, so we took the metro to this department store. I really liked it actually. There was also some major sale going on, but what I specifically liked was that it didn't really look like a department store. In terms of all the international designers, you really had like a Parisian and a French feel in that department store, just because there were tons of designers that I didn't know and that had some amazing pieces. You know, the one thing that you do have at a department store, in my opinion, is a bit of FOMO, as the kids these days like to call it. Like a bit of fear of missing out, you know, because it's so big. When you walk to the left, you don't see what's on the right, and there are so many designers, so many racks full of great pieces of clothing and shoes. So it's hard to really see everything, and I kind of really want to see everything. So that's just something that is a bit tricky in a department store, in my opinion. And then it was already time to leave. We went on Saturday and Sunday because, you know, I had to work on Friday and on Monday, so we only had 2 days, but those 2 days were the most amazing time in Paris I think I've ever had, especially meeting Monsieur Louboutin and going to all these great stores, and of course the Margiela exhibition as well, which is the reason why we actually went there. I really hoped you guys enjoyed this video. It's a bit random because, you know, I didn't have enough footage to only show you the footage that I filmed in Paris. I just wanted to do a little story time mixed with some footage from Paris, and I hope it turned out as great as I had it in my head. So yeah, that was it for this video. Please like if you like this video, subscribe if you're not already to not miss any content. There is lots of more to come in terms of fashion, gender terminology I will do some work on, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I'll see you on the next one.